I had to go back and I said, Lord, explain this text to me in the ghetto version. I need to get it in Ebonics. I only got one white person here. She'll be all right. And it says here. Watch this here. And I said, God, give me it in another version because I still don't understand why the topic is 2014. And he said, here's what you do. He said, I want you to go to Elijah. I want you to go up and down the street. And I want you to borrow. It didn't say vessels because vessels are for rich people. But for some of the rest of us, I need you to give me a jug. I need you to give me a milk bottle. And back in the islands, when we didn't have no cups like y'all did. So what we used to do, we used to take the vegetables out of the can, take the paper off the can, take the metal and seal it down, take the rat and sit it in the altar. Y'all ain't hear me. And that was the best cup of cold water you ever had. And he said, now I need you to go and get some jugs. And I need you to borrow some bowls. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you need to get anything that will hold anything. That's how God is getting ready to bless you. Anything that can hold anything, you better take it to the enemy. Oh, God, help me, Jesus. And it says here, it says, and not just a few. He said, get all you can get. And then come on home and lock the door. I dare you in the spirit realm to begin to lock some doors. Lock the door of poverty. Lock the door of self-esteem. Lock the door of lack. Lock the door. Come on, somebody. In the spirit, begin to lock the doors. I'm beginning to lock the doors of my mind. I'm beginning to lock the doors of my eyes. Every gateway, I dare you to begin to lock it down. Look at somebody. I'm about to shut it down. I'm about to shut it down. Oh, God, I thank him. And so now he began to sit there. He said, now, and so the Bible declares, in the ghetto version, it says she did what he said. She locked the door behind her. And her sons, and this is what blessed me, man of God. I don't want to run too fast and miss any pivotal point. It said it wasn't just a son. It said the word was plural. In other words, he didn't tell her how many sons she had. In other words, God did not tell the woman of God or the man of God how many children came in behind the doors. And that's why I tell my church when I close the door, whoever's on the outside is on the outside, but whoever's on the inside gonna get blessed. You need to let your church know whoever's on the inside is blessed. Whoever's on the outside got to stay on the outside. That's why time is very important because see, some people want to come in after the blessings and then they want to ride in as if they've been there the whole time. Oh, y'all missing what I'm saying here. But I'm looking for some people that when they hear that there is a Macedonia cry and there is the trumpet of the Lord that is gathering up the congregation, the Bible declares in Numbers, he said there was a trumpet that will sound, and in that trumpet it signifies who shall come to the ark of the covenant. There's a certain sound that called the prophets. There's a certain sound that called the evangelists. There's a certain sound that called the preachers, and then there's a certain sound that called the congregation. You got to know what sound to answer to. There's a lot of people answering to the wrong sound. Oh, come on, somebody. Look at somebody and say, what you answering to? Stand here, fill them. Just fill them. And when all the jugs and the bowls were filled, she said to one of the sons, she said, let me tell you something, son. I need you to go in the back because the oil, it's amazing that the Bible never signified how much oil she was given. I do declare she had a whole lot of oil to fill all the jugs. In other words, God said the oil which represents the anointing is enough. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. So the anointing that God has placed on your life is enough to pay off every bill. I dare somebody to wipe their brow, get the oil off your forehead, and begin to lay hands on your bills. There's enough oil on the inside of you to pay everything off, to do what you need to do. testify. I'm going to be honest with you, Apostle. I don't tell anybody what my anointing is because ain't nobody going to pump me, screw me, and lay me down and call me later. So my name is Overseer. If that's what makes you feel good, God bless you. But Lord have mercy. But when you tap into the Spirit and really find out what my anointing is, then you will address me properly. And I said, God, if he's calling, you must have shown him something. And God said, first you've got to understand. And I began to get up from my desk and I was beginning to go just with this. And I keep hearing the number say 2014. Oh God, Apostle Johnson, I still didn't understand. He said, first, you've got to understand that each new Hebrewic year combines with the years before. Oh yeah, y'all listening here. And I said, God, what are you saying to me? He said, you've got to understand that you are operating under the Gregorian calendar. You are not operating under the Hebrew calendar. He said, if you understood the Hebrew year, this is actually the year 5774. And I said, God, what are you saying? He said, if you're minus the 3,000 years before the coming of my Christ, but if you put it all back together, we are in 5774. And I said, God, I don't understand. He said, listen, daughter. He said, you've got to understand the church been through so much hell last year that they want to forget that it even came through. He said, but for 2014 to manifest the way it has to, you've got to go back and look back and see what you did wrong. See, nobody like to do that one. Sometimes, look at somebody. Say, I know it's painful, and I know it hurts, and I know you don't want to admit that you messed up. Yeah, you can take your titles off right now. I'm going to start with me. But you've got to admit, in 2013, you made some bad decisions. Your title and all, your anointing and all, the devil had you twisted. He said, now go back, and I want you to combine the year that went before. I said, the year? I said, God, I swore on New Year's Eve that I don't even want to hear about 2013. He said, but daughter, you can't move and you cannot manifest in 2014 until you go back and analyze all the hell you've been through from January through December. You've got to look at who you lost and who you gained. And then some people you lost, you got to go back and get them. And I said, hold up, Jesus. I said, some of them Negroes I don't want back. He said, you got to understand. I know somebody don't like this. He said, but you got to understand. They didn't belong to you. They belong to me. And your assignment as a shepherd was to shepherd my people and not to be a taskmaster. Go back and get my people. Shake them up. Slap them around if you got to. But bring them back. Oh my God. Lord have mercy, Jesus. The reality is, some of them Negroes I don't want back. But God said to me, he said they were assigned to you for your blessing. He said every camp needs a Judas to get where you need to go. And if the Judas is out of the camp, you can't go forward. Go and get Judas because Judas will give you the signal